We're about halfway through our 90 and 90 journey, and David has made his way from Texas across to New Mexico, through Arizona, up to some spots in Nevada, and over to California. We're over in Modesto, California for our next spot at the AMP group. And this is one that I'm kind of jealous on David for, because he gets to be there and see the AMP group and meet Trevor. And honestly, I've wanted to experience what Trevor has put together and have dreamt of kind of building something like that myself in the past. And so very cool discussion, and excited to share what the AMP group is doing.
What is the first word that pops in your mind when I say the AMP group?
When you say the AMP group?
Yeah.
Community.
Community. I love that, man.
Yeah, we got a good crew that comes in here, and that's so fostered, right? You create an environment that's fun. It's still very professional, don't get me wrong, but you create an environment where everybody feels welcome. We'll have kiddos running around here. Sometimes my kids are here and, giving high
Future process of
totally.
America.
They're giving high fives, they're giving knucks as they walk by.
Good job.
This is the community I was born and raised in. The clinic is going to be a representation of that.
I love that, man. I really do feel that when I'm here.
When I was doing my undergrad, I was a pre-physical therapy major. So the goal all along was to go to PT school. Applied to several schools kind of locally, didn't want to go too far away, was really selective, didn't get in anywhere. So retook a couple classes, broadened kind of the prerequisites that I could do, applied to more schools. One of the schools I applied to was Loma Linda University in Southern California. I got a rejection letter from Loma Linda, and I thought I had like a great tour and kind of visit with the campus, and it just crushed me, and I was super frustrated. And I remember my wife and I were driving to go on a date that night, and I was just bummed, and she was like, "Pull over." I'm like, "Really, a lecture? Like right now?" Pull over. I pull over, and sure enough, the next page is, "Hey, we are interested in you joining the O&P program at Loma Linda." And I was like, okay, well, I had worked with one prosthetic user in PT. I didn't know much about it. Obviously, we worked with a lot of post-CVA or spinal cord injuries, so I knew orthotics, but not much prosthetics. Call up the number. This was on like a Friday. Called up the number on Monday. The dean of the program answers the phone and goes, "Hey, it's good to hear from you." You never get this at any PT school or any graduate school, right? So right away, it just felt like this is the door that has been opened for a reason.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Yeah, we'd love for you guys to tour the facility. I know you were just down there, but we'd love for you to come back." So my wife and I planned to go down there. Everything about it just felt spot on. So I started the program. I ended the program in 2017. We moved back to Modesto. I started my residency. My daughter was born. Like life just went
full speed.
So I was in my residency, completed all of that. Shortly after my residency, I worked into a clinic manager role. So I was in a clinic manager role for a year, almost 2 years. Then progressed into a role of over 3 clinics. And then eventually progressed to a role of over 8 clinics, all Central California, all while seeing patients full time. Was working with the residency department for the region. Was just basically diving into everything that I had a passion about. I loved this industry and I was super passionate about it. But I got to a point where I was traveling a lot. I felt like I was missing out on the patient care aspect, which I really loved. There were things that I was seeing in the industry that were kind of out of reach, one of them being limber.
Yep.
And I realized that, this is a big risk, but I think I could do this on my own in the town that I was born and raised with the local community and do things differently, pulling in the PT side of it, pulling in kind of the creative aspects of what we can do in this industry. And that's what led to the AMP group.
Yeah.
So I was in the industry for almost 9 years where I decided I'm going to go for this thing.
That's a big step.
Massive step.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's more and more above your shoulders too. Like you thought you were handling 8 clinics and that was a lot, but now you're handling payroll and you're handling marketing and sales and patient care while trying to bring the community together at the same time.
Well, it's funny, I've had a lot of clients, but also just friends or family, kind of in the area say, how you doing? Running your own business is really stressful. And it is, don't get me wrong, but going from the role that I had to this is honestly a relief. Like I get to come and hang out in the gym like what you've experienced today. The setting is very relaxed. It's much more of kind of that PT setting.
Yep.
Obviously, we're taking clients into the evaluation rooms and we're working one-on-one and it's very focused, but there's also kind of this ongoing follow-up care that is much more organic, and we're doing it in the gym or we're doing it just in the clinic.
Yeah.
And that's been so much more fun than just like, this is your schedule.
Yeah, this is your next patient. This is your next patient.
8:30, 9, 9:30, 10. Maybe you get a lunch. Maybe you go home right at 5. It's like
maybe
we've completely changed kind of that model.
Yeah.
Which has been super fun.
And I know we were talking off camera here previously, but like there's a gap between getting fit with a prosthetic and getting the physical therapy you need. Not saying there's not physical therapists out there, but there's a lack in training with physical therapy and prosthetics, and also like trying to get the patient into that group. So the fact that you bring it all into like one little house, one little room, it's cool to see that. Like I know you're not doing all the physical therapy, but I know you have a patient back there doing some physical therapy right now, and I'm just like taken back because all we have in Dallas is the adaptive training facility, and there's not really prosthetics there. There's process that go there with their patients, but like we don't have anything like this in Texas that I can think of.
Yeah.
And I think that's just amazing to bring it all under one roof here.
Yeah, the goal is to not replace physical therapy, right? I have a lot of friends who are physical therapists in town. I worked in 2 clinics, before I went off to O&P school. So there's no desire to replace PT. But the thing that drove me mad is no physical therapy clinics around here had parallel bars that were longer than 5 feet long. So if we are referring a patient that's a new amputee to get physical therapy, gait training with a walker and a gait belt is okay, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
Anybody that starts with a prosthetic understands that you gain all your confidence in the parallel bars. Yep. So when I found this clinic, this space in particular, I knew I could put 20-foot long parallel bars in the back. My main evaluation room has an 18-foot long parallel bar. And then the one in the secondary room is an 8-foot long parallel bar. So even the 8-foot long, to me, is the shortest here.
Yeah.
Most clinics have that only.
How did you first hear about Limber and how did you get involved with them?
When I was providing prosthetics to all my clients, we always tried to create that backup leg, or I used to call it the thrash leg.
The thrash leg.
We always tried to create a leg where if you were going into the ocean, you were going to go play in the mud, you wanted to take a shower, you're going camping, going into the river, it was the leg that like you could just thrash and not worry about that. So typically I would do that by, when we did a socket replacement, I would then tell the patient, hey, we can get you this really cheap Satch foot and we'll throw it on your old socket. It's not gonna be perfect, but then you could wear that in the shower, you could wear that to the lake or whatever, right? And so I always created that for my patients. And then it got to the point where I saw Limber and I was like, this is the perfect solution for what I've been doing for years.
Yeah.
And it looks cool.
Yeah.
And it's lightweight. And it's not a Satch foot. It actually functions.
Yeah.
And so I remember reaching out to them when I first started the AMP group and was just like, I'm on board. What do we need to do? Because I already saw the advantage of having that backup.
Yeah. Especially you're already doing it. I'm
already doing it. Now there's just a product that's complete and it actually functions and it serves this purpose, right? And I remember thinking at first like, oh, it's just for the shower or whatever. But then when you think about it, it's like the Limber leg could be used for any below-knee prosthetic user, whether you're, kind of a geriatric user, just using it to transfer. It's a really lightweight prosthetic. You could use it to get in and out of the shower safely.
Yep.
Even incontinence, right?
Yeah.
You can wash it off and clean it much easier. And then obviously the other end is the high-end users like yourself who are going into the ocean, you're scuba diving, you're snorkeling, you're jumping into the pool, you're going in the hot tub. It allows you to live this life where there's really no limitations.
Yeah. And
so when I first started talking with Limber and getting a hold of the product and learning more about it, it was like, I am on board.
It's more than a shower leg. Like I've driven 3,500 miles in the last 2 weeks and hiking in the sand dunes, hiking at Walnut National Park in Flagstaff, and over 700 steps on this leg in that one park. So I think I'm kind of proving that it's not just a shower leg. it's definitely strong enough to do everyday ADLs that people are normally doing.
When I had the same experience, so my buddy Hector, I was like, hey, bud, I need you to be my guinea pig. I was
always got that one patient that's a guinea pig.
I was all, I'm not going to charge you for this. I want you just to try it because I'm not going to be on board with a product, promote it, talk to my patients about it unless it's legit. You know, is it going to snap when he's using it? Am I going to order and it takes me 6 months to get one? You know, like, is this a legit company? And so we got Hector in one, and I immediately was blown away by how much he enjoyed it. And he's the type of guy that I would put him in a different foot, and he would maybe like it for a day, and then he would call or text me, I don't like it, take it off. So
I'm one of those patients too.
I knew I would get the honest feedback, right? And so that was the biggest thing for me, was like, I know if I get this set up for Hector, I'm going to get honest feedback as to whether it's a good product or a bad product. Is it functional? Can he use it? And I remember him texting me like, dude, I stood in the shower for the first time. And then it quickly became his everyday leg. But you met a handful of, you know,
we had quite a big group here this morning.
We had a crew for you. You met a handful of the users that we have in them, and every single one of them at some point, if not 100% of the time, use them as their everyday prosthetic. Whether it's everyday use, like you met Rhett, right? He puts on these super heavy turnouts, these boots for work. When he puts on his limber leg, it's like putting on a slipper for him. It's like lightweight. It's lightweight. It's comfortable. Chantel went on this massive Caribbean cruise, put in thousands of steps on it, and can still put it on and walk around in it. Eric uses it for showering, but also for fishing. Hector still uses, like, there's so many users that over and over and over, it's proven this is a legit product. And again, I like jokingly tell my patients, like, I am not a salesperson. I'm not going to give you snake oil. Like, we're doing things that are going to improve your life, improve your function with the prosthetic. And the limber product, from what I have experienced with, you know, these several patients now, talking to you and just seeing other users, has been like, it's just been exceptional. It's been exceptional. It's been awesome.
If anything, what most surprised you about the Limber Unileg?
I think the biggest thing for me was the immediate reaction that I was getting from patients. Obviously, Limber has put out some of those videos now of like that initial
first 5 minutes.
The biggest one was Hector. Here's my buddy who's not skeptical, but like, obviously this is something new. Vanessa and I are sitting here like, you know, hand him this product, step back, don't say a word, let's see what happens. And he just starts cruising around. He's like, I love it. I love it. Like, talking about how lightweight it is, how this feels. One of the coolest ones was with Rhett. I forget the exact wording, but it was kind of like, I feel like my foot's on the ground and I feel like my leg's in the socket, but in between there, it just feels like it's floating. It was something along those lines. It's in the video. So for me, like, those initial impressions were unreal. And again, as not a prosthetic user, I'm seeking all of that feedback. And constantly the feedback was just so unique and different than what I'd ever heard in traditional prosthetics.
Yeah, it feels good. How would you describe a workflow to somebody who's interested?
The workflow is super easy. You really have 3 routes. Either you already have a positive model that you can utilize, or you have a prosthetic that's good and you could duplicate that, whether it's with alginate or plaster. You can pull the inner out, right? I have a 3D printer here in-house, so a lot of what we're doing is already digitized. So if I already have the positive model, whether that's physical or digital, it's super easy from there to take a couple pictures of the patient, take a scan of the patient standing with the prosthetic on, and this is all app-based. You're not jumping between on your computer. It's all in the app. You take a couple measurements. That's it. It's really straightforward. The team is incredible to work with. I mean, the entire team at Limber is so easy to work with that I realized right away that even if I messed up slightly, Walker or Austin or whoever's going to hop on the phone with me and be like, oh yeah, this is what's going on. Perfect. So my recommendation would be, if you're a clinician looking to do this, if you already have the positive, you're set. If obviously you need to alginate or do something like that, obviously give yourself the time to do that. But the workflow is so easy.
What do you think about turnaround time? Are you waiting 2 to 3 months for a leg, or How's it working for you?
Turnaround time is much shorter than most industry standards. You know, even if you work for a large company or you use a large fabrication center, the turnaround time is going to be no shorter than 2 weeks for a lamination, when we can get an entire prosthetic in that same turnaround time. So that alone is pretty special.
What would you say as far as if they have doubts or if they're wanting to do it, but maybe they haven't thought about the right patient?
Yeah.
What would you say to them?
They're missing out.
Yeah.
I mean, really, there's no other like way to put it.
Yeah.
You know, you should not have doubts.
Yeah.
I mean, I jumped into it kind of like, let's see what happens. And for sure, I had my doubts in the beginning. And I think that anybody who is maybe on the fence about trying the first limber leg for a patient, I mean, there's so much now proving, whether it's, you know, talking to a guy like you or just another user, find somebody on Facebook, on social media, and just reach out to them.
Yeah. Maybe we need a Facebook limber group now.
Totally. There should not be any doubts.
Yeah.
There really shouldn't. And even the cost is so inexpensive.
Yeah. But without saying limber Unileg, how would you describe the prosthesis I am wearing right now?
Industry changing prosthetic.